Hi, timestamp November 26, 2024. It's almost 7 p.m. It's like 6:40 something. I'm gonna be going to bed here pretty soon. I think, work in the morning, at least for a little while. So, my youngest had a therapy appointment today. Here's the thing. And I know that my kids don't always understand my viewpoints on stuff. Therapy, I've been recommended that I have therapy. This is my therapy to a degree, at least for now. I don't have a problem with therapy, and I think obviously it's a healthy thing for a lot of people. Again, it's been recommended for me. I just haven't. I've got so much going on right now. I know I should at least pencil it in, if not ink it in. I'm well aware of that, because I'm well aware that I need therapy. Here's the thing. Just to cut the onion. My boy with autism, therapy was going to be a thing because autism is a difficult road to walk. Cool. I thought maybe we weren't alone anymore. Feeling less intimate. My youngest, the need for it started after the shenanigans with my parents. That part annoys me. You know, if anyone was going to cause my children to be in therapy, I wanted it to be me. As any good American parent. Don't know what all they talked about. That's the point of it. He's 17, but we're attempting to, kind of let our kids spread their grown-up wings. We're definitely here to manage, guide, and all that, but the real world needs experiencing. So, worried about, everything. But health check. I've had some shallowness of breath lately and tightness in the chest, but again, a little bit of nothing that has me real worried, nothing that I can't very easily dismiss as anxiety because of stuff and things. Actually, the Walmart brand, great value French vanilla, not bad. If I want a vanilla coffee that isn't grotesquely expensive, it's a pretty good go-to. I'm getting a little low on my Harry and David vanilla cream brulee, so hopefully at work I can grab a few if we have any on the shelf. We did the other day. I grabbed one. Tomorrow, if they have it, right, I think we're working. I might grab 2 or 3 because Still not the Kauai, but the only thing that is the Kauai is the Kauai, the vanilla macadamia. Oh, man. I know I've said it before. Such good coffee. I love that coffee. And it apparently is a product of Hawaii, which makes me wonder if the tariffs are going to make that go up in price. I mean, they shouldn't. You know, it's an American product being distributed within America. Which, on that note, I do think that tariffs are a great idea if they're used intelligently and with purpose, which is very much not what is being proposed right now. Anybody that was worried about the price of eggs and gas and things of that nature, oh, Buttercup, this is the wrong direction. Because I know prices were shaky and all that, but the fact of the matter is, excuse you, sir. The fact of the matter is, and it's hard to notice when you're in the supermarket. I get that. Our economy was actually stronger than almost all the other economies in the world. We recovered stronger, faster, better without Steve Austin than just about every other country after COVID. We were on the right track. But because prices weren't where people wanted them, they blamed current administration. A lot of countries did. There are some countries in Europe that voted out the current administration because, you know, they were told that it was their fault. We did better than the other countries did, according to, like, global economists. It's not like, you know, pro-America, American economists. It's global economists sitting back saying, you guys are actually doing better than France, than England, than Germany, you know. But it didn't happen fast enough, so the guy in charge at that moment, when that snapshot was taken, voted out him and his kind. That is a response. It's not a good one because y'all didn't do your homework, but it is a response. I mean, from a personal perspective standpoint, from the whole tariff thing, doing tariffs on China without having a plan internally, to me, is really foolish. Because, okay, their production is fast and it's cheap, which is why a lot of our companies here outsource to China. They can make it faster and cheaper and ship it to us at least cheaper than we can make it here. Here's the thing, and this has always kind of bothered me. We're always talking about needing American jobs and the death of American industry and all that. And the bottom line is, the American corporations don't want to pay a living wage. Bernie was right, guys. American corporations don't want to pay a living wage because anything that gets made abroad, this is going to sound cocky, but I mean it. We're America. If we wanted to, we could. We could. We don't. It's a choice. Because corporations figured out they can do it cheaper by having it outsourced to China. It would be cool because we could actually have, you know, factories and innovation and stuff like that here in America. We could make it all ourselves. You know, with the exception of some natural things that we might need to import from other places. Fruits, vegetables, metals, you know, things of that nature. some of that we'd have to outsource. I get that. But if it's something that we could make here, and corporations were willing to pay a wage to make the goods here, then I would say, in order to encourage American production, doing some kind of a tariff on China would be appropriate. And it wouldn't necessarily be a tariff on China, it would be a tariff that would affect American distribution, in the respect that they would have to charge more for a product that they brought in from China, which would increase the price they would have to charge to make a profit. So if you made the cost of making it here cheaper than they would actually eventually have to charge the end user, then you could encourage, American growth that way. But that's not what's being done here. He wants to put I just heard today that he, the orange guy, wants to impose a 25% tariff on Mexico and Canada because they're caravans of people heading for our border again, and that's because all the fentanyl's coming in that way. Okay. From a fact-checking standpoint, my understanding is most of the fentanyl actually comes in through the ports. Miami apparently is a big contributor to that problem. It comes in through Florida and gets distributed from there. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, please let me know. Does some come in through Mexico? Sure, of course it does. Sure. Canada? I don't know about that. But they have to stop the flow of people and drugs, or they're going to get charged 25%. Yes, our time-old nemesis, Canada. He's really good at alienating people that we shouldn't be alienating. Which I guess makes sense because he wants to cozy up to people that no one should cozy up to. So I guess that makes sense. You know what I mean? The people that he idolizes are kind of the worst in world leaders. So, yeah, all right. I don't know why I'm shocked by that. But yeah. Unbelievable. Y'all are worried about the price of things right now. Good. Yeah, it was a good choice. That should work out pretty well. Genius. Genius choice that'll lend itself to a real stable economy. Yeah, I did that on purpose. Anyway, just wanted to check in real quick. Haven't heard anything from my parents since I talked to my mom a couple days ago. I'm still in awe at my mom's, it's vascular dementia, not Alzheimer's, smugness. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last time we talked, but one of the things that I find funny and sad all at the same time in her, wanting to be right, wanting it to not be Alzheimer's, is that vascular dementia, from everything that I read, typically lends itself to a shorter lifespan of the person with it. So, and I might have mentioned this the other day, the way we've been describing it around our household is my mom is getting very indignant. The idea of, he doesn't have a cold, he has pneumonia. It's like, oh, well, thank goodness you're right. And it's not a cold, it's only pneumonia. You know what I mean? It's kind of that degrees thing. Here's the thing, here's the takeaway, and I don't think I mentioned this. Vascular dementia, Alzheimer's, the life of the person with Alzheimer's is typically 10 to 20 years upon diagnosis. It's everything that I've read. Some accelerate faster than others, you know. And obviously, when they're diagnosed, it doesn't mean the 10 to 20 years starts then. It's 10 to 20 years going back to, more often than not, though, it's about 10 years after diagnosis, because of usually when they detect enough to actually sit down and go, okay, this person has Alzheimer's. It's usually about 10 years into. Hopefully you get it. So with vascular, it's faster. It's faster. Typically, there's a 5 to 6 year lifespan upon diagnosis. Now, where this gets, in my opinion, a little bit more grim, and it may actually explain the fact that my dad had 2 strokes last year. Because strokes and heart attacks are kind of one of the main things. It's usually not the dementia that kills you, it's usually the strokes and heart attacks that are kind of a part of it. Which again, the 2 strokes he had last year to me almost seem like and I know 2 years seems like a while, but that almost to me was like a, now knowing what I do, kind of a, this is the end. We're now in endgame. But 5 to 6 years after diagnosis typically is when it's over. Okay. Pardon. My mom has been putting tremendous effort into hiding my dad's condition. We've learned a lot over the past 2 years. She has gone to great lengths to keep his symptoms and other situations, under wraps, for fear of damaging his legacy, which we're all pretty confused about because we are his legacy. In protecting him, you're not helping him get treatment. So, are you helping or are you being selfish? Here's the thing. If my dad started hallucinating 6 years ago or more, that's frequently a point where the symptoms weigh out to people around them and they realize something's wrong, let's get you diagnosed. Which, if we say 6 years ago is when he should have been diagnosed, but again, Mom was hiding the fact that he was hallucinating and having these paranoid delusions and things like that. If that's the case, with a 5 to 6 year period typically after diagnosis, and he should have been diagnosed 6 years ago, what does that tell you? I know what it tells me. But it's not a cold, it's pneumonia. So, and frequently vascular dementia and pneumonia, got me saying it now. But vascular dementia and Alzheimer's can and often do exist in the same patient, so he could have both anyway. According to the one doc, they won't know until he does pass, and if they do an autopsy, and it's weird even talking about this, but cut into him and then they can see if the tendril action is happening in the brain. And at that point, post-mortem, what have you, they can say, oh, we had both. But if they're leaning on vascular, well, then we're a lot closer to that finish line than we thought we were. he may not have to worry about going through 2 or 3 years of final stage Alzheimer's. He may just have a stroke or a heart attack and be gone. So, I mean, that can happen to any of us, right? Any one of us can have that moment and be gone. But, he's in a very high-risk category. Almost ironic timing, Mr. Coffee. Appreciate that. So, but just trying to keep my journal updated and keep you informed. Anyway, so that doesn't help me from an anxiety standpoint, and the fact that I'm daily waiting for that phone call, because I'm using this mug because it makes me grin ironically. But if you know me, you know that I have a bent sense of humor about like the universe and everything. Also one of my favorite books. In the series, I can't decide if I like that one or Hitchhiker the best. You know, because Hitchhiker is just so good as like a standalone, but Life is just so roller coastery fun. Which is to say, all of the books in the series are really good. But those two, just, they're standouts for me. I love them dearly. But don't kid yourself, I'll sit down and tear through a restaurant too. But there's a bent writer. Funny stuff, though. And hot. So, that's my update. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed sharing it. Yeah, I probably do need therapy. Anyway.